7 points on the board from a possible 9 for Bradford City. A fantastic start to the League 2 season. Let me know your thoughts on the start to the League 2 season in the comments down below. But more importantly, on that big 3-1 win against Bromley. They've opened their opening campaign with 2 wins from 2. So it is a big win. They had 10 men. What were your thoughts on the red card? The penalty as well. Should Richie Smallwood have took it? He scored it, so clear evidence there that he should have, although some fans were booing him before the penalty, which I have my own thoughts about. I'll tell you later in the video. Let me know your thoughts on the 3-1 win in the comments down below. It is a huge win. No matter what, whether Bromley just stay up this season, whether Bromley put a playoff charge on this season, whether they're just mid-table and just bore the place out. They are a well-drilled team. You saw that today. Andy Woodman, he's done a great job at Bromley, and you saw that today how they were set up. They didn't go away from what they wanted to do, and that's testament to them. And I thought Bromley, were very good, and I think that was agreed with people around me, and probably with you as well. So let me know your thoughts on Bromley, because I thought that they look like a team, a real team as well that can challenge. But Kieran Kelly said before the game, we're gonna basically welcome them to this league and make it tough for them, and we're gonna knock them down from the perch, for the high horse that they're on at the minute, along the lines of that. And I think that is what we did. We were like a bunch of cows on the field today. We just got about our business. There were no bulls, there were no charging about, there were no massive aggression, and there were no massive statements out there. 3 goals, the 3-1 win is fantastic. It does have a bit of a a big highlight on that when you see 3 goals for Bradford City at home. It doesn't happen often, but the performance were professional, and we just got the job done. There's question marks about 10 men, Bromley as well. There's question marks on Bromley, but up against 10 men, you can't really judge that. Salford, we probably should have won the game, but over the course of it, probably didn't do enough. And then MK Don's first game, so there's still question marks, and it's hard to really gauge where we are. I understand that, and a lot of fans share that, but I'm snapping your hands off. I'm absolutely, I'm destroying your hands off. I'm demolishing your hands. There's absolutely nothing there. The bones aren't even there. That they're fractured whilst you've got no skin on your arm. To get 7 from 3, 7 from 9. I mean, 7 from 3 is impossible. But just because of how we started seasons before, that we've had great optimism. We've had great optimism going into the season. A bit of Dutch there for you. So there's that. The Mark Hughes one, but we didn't start particularly well. I don't know what our best start to a season is. 16-17 were probably I think we went unbeaten throughout towards October time, September time. So that were a great start. Hopefully we can replicate that. But momentum's huge, and going from the end of last season, it's important how you finish the season, no matter where you finish, because you take it into the next season. That's what we've done. 12 unbeaten, 13 unbeaten already. I think that's 9 good unbeaten record at home at the minute as well. So all that bodes well at this moment in time when you can reflect on that. But then when you start this next season well, you continue that, and it only brings positivity. And I was so sorry, Mike, again. I did that in the last video. I just hit my mic like that. Said, sorry, Mike. But then when I listened back to it, I thought, hang on, you can't even hear me hitting it. So, yeah, I don't know. And that needs to be a bit higher like that. But the point what I was getting at was, I was so scared. I wasn't scared. I was nervous about, I was apprehensive about the game coming into it, because I was thinking, right, this is the type of game that we normally lose 1-0, we might draw 0-0, and any result like that, any negativity, maybe a poor performance, and I could sense it turning, on social media, and even the atmosphere against Salford, it wasn't great, the whole atmosphere around Valley Parade, and I just thought one bad result here, one negativity, and I just thought it can easily turn like that, and I thought we were ready to, and thankfully we got off to a great start. We had a good energetic start anyway, forcing Bromley back a bit, but then with that, it was a great cross from, I think it was right, but no, it was Smallwood's. I'm pretty sure it was Smallwood's corner. Really delicious ball in towards the back post, and somehow, I'm sure it's Aidan Baldwin, I haven't seen it back, I'm sure it's Aidan Baldwin, peels away from his man, he's got a free header, and I thought he should have scored that, because it was a great chance. and it were a handball by Arthur, the midfielder from Bromley, and it was clear as day. Good refereeing to spot it, because we know what they're like at this level, and they don't spot those those errors, those terrible blunders that we obviously had last weekend. He saw it. Credit to him. Well done, Scott Simpson, I think you were called. So well done to you, sir, for spotting it. And it was a red card as well, because he's denied a goal. And then up steps Richie Smallwood. Some fans were booing him, which is an absolute disgrace. I'm sorry if, whatever, but he scored it. But I just can't get on with that at all. I think it's absolutely disgraceful. And, there'll be people who did it who watch me, and so I'm sorry, but you can disagree with me, you can say what you like, but at the end of the day, you can't boo your own players when they haven't done anything wrong at this moment in time. I get it, at the end of a game we've been battered, we aren't putting a good performance, but when it's 0-0, we've won a penalty, your captain's about to step up. I think that's it's below the belt, it's low, it's a shame, it's shameful, it's really poor. And I didn't think we were. There's obviously idiots in every fan base, but there were a load of people doing it, and I didn't think we were like that as a fan base. There's been moments, but you're not then. Not so early in the season to boo your captain who's about to step up to take a penalty. Because it just screams that you don't want him to score. It's like you're setting up for him to miss, so then you can go, ha, told you he's rubbish. It's like that. 1-0. I've always told you Smallwood's rubbish. Have that. Sit down. Or you Smallwood, lovers or whatever you want to say. Happy clappers to Smallwood, whatever. It's poor. It's really poor. And I thought it was just disgraceful, to be honest with you. And when you look at the penalty situation, I'm sure I'll talk about it later on as well. But Andy Cook missed a lot of penalties last season. Smallwood missed against Grimsby, but he scored against Grimsby last season, and then he redeemed himself by scoring in the penalty shootout. And a lot of the penalties weren't great. I mean, Andy Cook nearly missed. He was inches away from missing his penalty against Grimsby. Didn't look confident. I'm sure it's something we practice all the time. Same with the corners as well. Brilliant delivery from Smallwood with the corner. And then, of course, the goal for Andy Cook, it's momentum's huge in football, and you've got to take advantage of your momentum. The swings all the time, 5-10 minute swings, every team will have them, where you create 4 or 5 really good chances, and you've got to make sure you take them. And we did. Obviously, we got the penalty through the corner, and then this chance as well. We were building momentum, we were pushing them back, and then Sarcevic, he made a mistake. Something happened. I don't think he had the pace to keep up the attack. And, fans were getting on his back. And then I liked his reaction straight away. Nicked him with a tackle. Smallwood gets the ball on the edge of the box, takes the touch, whips it. Unbelievable bend around it. And finds Andy Cook, who's unmarked at the back post. His intelligence makes him peel off, and he's got himself a tap in. Missed it, but then scored it, and that's what Andy Cook does. And then the second half, I thought, first half I thought we were brilliant, to be honest. We mixed our play up really well. Knew when to go short and play into Smallwood, who was a great outlet for us in the middle of the park, just dictating play, popping it about, and went to go long into her channels. And I thought, there's some good attempts to knock the ball into her channels. I just feel like a couple of players either didn't have the pace or just weren't at it. Whether more games, more gelling, more chemistry, more partnerships, more information, more sharpness in games. Maybe it's getting spread a bit more, but Halliday and Wright, so high and wide. It gives us so much space, so many more chances were getting created because they were so much higher and wider. I don't know if it was also because Bromley had 10 men, but from the first 5 minutes you could tell how high and wide they were, and the growing confidence to taking more players on and the delivery much better from those two. So that gives us a platform, and it gives us more space in the central areas as well, because we were pulling Bromley's wing backs central and wide, because they had that on the mind that we can easily pull it back across to the wing backs. And then obviously Kelly and Baldwin would get forward as well, but them two seemed a bit more narrow to burn. So I don't know if that was how we were setting up to counteract how they were set up with sort of 2 strikers, to have more narrow centre backs in there, so it becomes more of a 2 if one goes forward. But obviously that helped because we didn't really get counted too much for the amount of players who were committing again. Maybe that's down to them having 10 and not being able to get out. So I was impressed with that. And then the 2-10s as well were quite wide. Recently they've been quite narrow, just behind the two strikers, where this game they were more spread. And then one of the strikers dropped in as well to help us win. So I thought we had a good balance of width to us, where we could knock it wide, get the crosses in. Some really good crosses came in as well. Some floated, some whipped, some low. But I just felt like there was a few really good crosses, but no one gambled on enough. So that were a real positive as well, the crossing, because that's been a real negative recently. So loads of positives in the game. We dictated it, we controlled it, we dominated it in times. But the only negative that comes out of such a comfortable, such a comprehensive win, although like I say, Bromley were, credit to them because they played well in parts and they were good. They were credit to themselves. Was the final 10 minutes, but we give away a free kick, and I'm convinced it was offside. I was watching the line, and I watched Byron Webster just nip in front, and I'm convinced he was offside. But I've only seen it the once, so I'm not going to say 100%, but 99% sure he was offside, which is a shame, and it could have cost us on another day, but it didn't. It's a great header from Webster, and credit to it. Defensively, apart from their goal, maybe had a couple, maybe 2-3 other really good chances for where the broke our back line down, but apart from that, I thought really strong. And going forward, a real constant threat and dominated, dictated, and knocked them down the peg, I'd say. They were on a real high, 2 wins from 2. Then they've conceded 3. They didn't concede a goal, and they looked a bit leaky at the back. So I thought real positive display. Substitutions made an impact as well. So yeah, couldn't be happier. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on this 3-1 win against Bromley. Like the video if you did. We're on the road to 700 subscribers. All support is massively appreciated. Have a good one.